Hi, co-reporters. Teen Mom family reunion star Ashley Cheyenne has come out praising Dr. Cheyenne of the show and actually requesting for her to replace Dr. Drew. And I've got some bad news for Ashley and anybody watching this video as well. I feel like I'm really exposing a nice person and I feel bad for that, but listen, my job is to report the tea that I find, the news that I find, the information that I find. So even though I feel bad exposing some things here, I have to be honest, okay? So before we get into quote unquote Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, let's get into Ashley's Instagram post. So last night she went to her Instagram stories, posted a photograph of herself with Cheyenne Bryant with a caption that read, "I'd like to officially request Dr. B for all future reunions. I think Dr. Drew brings nothing to the table in regards to that. It was nice to connect with a real doctor who wanted accountability and insight instead of condescending remarks." Okay guys, I can't sit on this. Normally like on YouTube you're supposed to tease stuff so you get a longer watch time, but I can't sit on this. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant is not a real doctor. I hate to burst Ashley's bubble. Like when she says a real doctor in her post, I'm like, oh girl, who's gonna tell her? Do I have to be the one to tell her? Cheyenne Bryant is not a real doctor, okay? And I am going to prove it to you guys. I'm gonna give you guys all the information that I found. So first of all, I don't know, okay, like I understand people's frustrations with Dr. Drew and everything, but at the end of the day, he is a real doctor who went through proper institutions to be labeled a doctor, to earn his doctorate, okay? Let's get into Cheyenne's background. So I was looking at Dr. Bryant's Instagram profile. I was like, oh, she's a real doctor. Okay, that's awesome. I had no idea because on the show, they just introduced her as Cheyenne Bryant, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. I could be misremembering. So when I went to her profile, it just seemed a little bit like shill-ish. I mean, like it seemed like it was very, very for-profit. Like there was something a little bit off to me. So when you go to her profile, it goes Dr. Cheyenne Bryant trademark. So I'm like, your doctorate is trademarked? Okay, that's interesting. That's new. That was the first kind of red flag for me. And then second, it goes psychology expert and life coach. Okay, I'm sorry to those of you who are life coaches or whatever. I believe in life coaches. I value life coaches. I would like to get one when I get my coins up, you know, for monthly check-ins or something, just to like make sure I'm sticking to my goals. It's nothing against that, but doctor, life coach, something about that pairing seemed a little bit off to me as well. And then she doesn't even call herself a doctor of psychology. She calls herself a psychology expert. So the trademark doctorate situation, life coach plus doctor, and then calling herself a psychology expert instead of a doctor of psychology, you know what I mean? Like all of that seemed a little bit weird to me. And then, you know, she has an institute and then a foundation or whatever. And I'm like, okay, like these things just seem very snake oily to me. You know, it just seems a little snake oily to me. I'm not even gonna lie. So her Dr. Bryant Institute specializes in therapy, personal development, online courses and workshops. I don't know, like, does she have other people, licensed therapists? You know, she doesn't even call herself a licensed therapist either. Does she have licensed therapists who can provide therapy through her institute? Because if not, that seems a little bit illegal, right? Or something. So then she's got her nonprofit, which I think is great. But she, you know, when you go to her nonprofit's Instagram page, it just says DBF is a registered nonprofit that provides resources to youth, families, and communities in need. For more info or to give a gift, click the link below. So it goes directly to a PayPal, which I find a little bit odd. And mind you, the PayPal has been deleted. Maybe it's not working internationally. I'm in France, but it doesn't exist. And then when you go to the actual Instagram page, the first post is about donating. Well, the most recent post is about just donating through PayPal. It's like a screenshot of a PayPal page. All of this stuff kind of just rubs me the wrong way. I feel like that's a little bit weird of a way to put it. I don't know what goes on with the money. I guess they're registered. I don't have time to verify that, but something's off. And the fact that that PayPal has been pulled as well is a little bit of another red flag. So when you go to Dr. Bryant's website, the first two things are, here's her newsletter, click here to buy your life coaching session. From a marketing perspective, it doesn't make any sense, right? You're supposed to like tell a story to get people there. Like it's very like immediately buy, get into my funnel. Then you got the testimonies, you got everywhere that she's been seen, blah, blah, blah. And so now when you get into her actual biography page, this is where you find out that something is amiss. So here she says that she attended California State University at the age of 17. While there, she obtained a double degree in psychology and Pan-African studies. So typically when someone like brags about the age they're at when they like enter into a university or something like that, and they're in the psychology field, the whole thing just reminded me a lot of this girl who was exposed on Twitter back in 2020, Dr. Kellen Leanne or something Leanne, Kelsey Leanne, something along those lines. She was a fake doctor of psychology, and she was claiming she got her doctorate at 20 years old or something like that. So like, you know, her throwing out her age and stuff all makes it very strange to me. You know, it's not strange that she got into university at the age of 17. I did as well. I started at that age, but just all of this stuff adding together is not looking good. So I started looking at the information for her universities. The first university she listed, Cal State University of Northridge. When you look it up online, it says that it is a public university, okay? So it doesn't seem like it is a for-profit or anything like that. But then after that is where things kind of go off the rails. Next, she talks about getting into another university. She's like, you know, she entered her master's program at the University of Phoenix, but when you look up the University of Phoenix, you see that it is a private for-profit university. Interesting, right? And then lastly, she says that she got her doctorate degree in counseling psychology from Argosy University. And then when you look up Argosy University, on Google, it says that it is permanently closed, you know, and it, you know, in the bio, it says Argosy University was a system of for-profit colleges owned by Dream Center Educational Holdings, LLC, and Education Management Corporation. So it's just fake BS degrees. And that Dr. Kelsey Leanne or whatever, she was going to these like fake degrees, like schools or whatever, for-profit schools. Her father had owned one of these like church for-profit schools. It was like, I don't know, like his church owned it or something like that. And then he was on the board member, and then she got her doctorate through him. It was a huge thing. Like, guys, if you remember the name, please put it in the description box so that everyone else can go down that rabbit hole. Like, I remember spending days, weeks just reading up on that as it was happening live on Twitter. So yeah, like Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, I don't, like, in my opinion, she is not a real doctor just based on her educational background that she lists herself on her own personal website. So I think that Ashley might want to walk back that comment over there about a real doctor when one of them is a real doctor, you know, of the two that she's comparing. And their name is not Cheyenne Bryant. It's actually Dr. Drew, who is a real doctor. I get that Ashley might vibe a little bit better with Cheyenne, but this is still not a factual claim that she's making on her Instagram account in front of, you know, her hundreds of thousands of followers. And I wonder how Dr. Drew feels about that. I wonder if Dr. Drew even knows about this shady fake doctor roaming around the teen mom, you know, streets, maybe taking his job in the future. I don't know. Imagine the real doctor being replaced by the fake for-profit doctor who went to a school that was shut down for being fake and shady. Interesting. Anyway, you guys, Cheyenne, you, if you're watching this, you seem like a nice enough lady. This is nothing against you, but when I went and looked, your educational background was looking a little sketchy, girl. And I just have to report the truth. I'm sorry, guys. What do you think about this? Are you surprised to find out that Cheyenne isn't really a real doctor? Make sure to let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And if you remember that girl who was exposed on Twitter, I feel like her name was Kelsey Leanne or something, and she was selling stuff up the wazoo. She was claiming to be this therapist. Whoa. If you remember her name, please put it down. I want to fall back down that rabbit hole again. It was juicy. I sent it to like my friends who were actual, you know, they're psychotherapists and stuff in the comment section down below. And as usual, we'll chat. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.